Welcome back to Superbly Said Advanced English Vocabulary and Phrases. Today we're embarking on a pretty fascinating deep dive. We're looking at a collection of powerful terms and expressions, and they're all drawn from a recent SpeakDuo lesson. And just quickly, for those of you eager to connect with new people from around the globe and really build your confidence in English speaking on video calls, definitely check out SpeakDuo.com. So we've carefully picked these phrases today because they're just incredibly useful, especially if you're looking to articulate yourself with more precision. Whether you're navigating complex work discussions, maybe presenting to your boss, or even tackling the nuances of an IELTS speaking test, we're basically here to help you unlock the subtle power behind these words.
Indeed. And it's really about moving beyond just, recognizing vocabulary. It's about truly mastering the subtle context and the inherent power these phrases carry, understanding when and how to deploy them effectively. That's what elevates communication. It takes you from simply being understood to being, truly impactful and eloquent. It's kind of the difference between knowing the musical notes and actually composing a symphony.
Absolutely. A great analogy. So let's jump right in. Our first phrase for today is alter ego. It's a term that, it immediately conjures images of transformation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like a hidden self. At its core, it describes a second self or, a different version of oneself. But what's really going on here, beyond just a cool concept from, say, comics or movies, how does this differ from just taking on a persona, for instance?
Yeah.
Or playing a simple role?
Yeah, that's a really crucial distinction. And it gets right to the heart of what alter ego implies. You see, a persona is often more about the external presentation. It's like a carefully constructed facade you might adopt for a specific social or professional situation. Think of a professional persona, that polished, competent version of yourself you show in the boardroom, which, let's face it, might be quite different from how you are relaxed at home. It's a public front, consciously managed.
Okay, so persona is more like a mask for a situation.
Exactly. And a role is, even more superficial in a way. It's simply the part you play in a given scenario, like your role as a parent or your role as a team leader. It doesn't necessarily involve a deep psychological shift. It's more about a set of expected behaviors for that function.
Right, understood. So where does alter ego fit then? How's it deeper?
Well, alter ego delves much deeper. It suggests something more fundamental, almost a separate, integrated identity within the same individual. It's not just a mask you put on and take off easily. It's a distinct facet of your personality that emerges, often with its own unique set of traits, behaviors, or even motivations. Things that might genuinely surprise people who only know your primary self.
This is like a real other part of you.
Pretty much. It implies a deeper, more inherent other self that you can consciously tap into. Perhaps because a situation demands a specific set of attributes that aren't dominant in your everyday interactions. It's about accessing capabilities or maybe a mindset that might otherwise lie dormant. And look, this isn't about being two-faced or deceitful. It's more about having this profound, often powerful reservoir of self that you can call upon for particular challenges.
That makes the distinction really crystal clear now. Thanks. It also clarifies why the source's example is so potent. On stage, she becomes her alter ego, bold and fearless. It's not just an act she's putting on. It sounds like a fundamental shift in her presence, her core being for that performance. She's invoking a more powerful, maybe more assertive part of herself.
Precisely. She's accessing that reserve.
And for a more relatable, maybe everyday context, or perhaps an IELTS-style speaking question, you might get asked something like, do you have an alter ego for specific situations, perhaps at work?
Right, and the sample answer provided really drills down on this exact idea. It says, yes, when I present at work, I tap into a more confident alter ego. Now, this isn't just about pretending to be confident or, acting confident for a presentation. It implies a deliberate psychological shift, an invocation of a specific mindset, or an aspect of your personality that is inherently more assertive, more poised, more articulate for that specific challenge.
So it's like recognizing you have this capability inside you.
Exactly. Recognizing you possess this deeper, more capable part of yourself and consciously bringing it to the forefront when needed. It's actually a strategic psychological tool, really. Think about how many people struggle with public speaking anxiety. Tapping into an alter ego can allow them to sort of distance themselves from their usual anxieties and access a state of mind that empowers them to perform better. It's fascinating, really. It touches on self-management, performance psychology.
It truly is fascinating. So for you listening right now, think about those moments, times when you've had to maybe switch gears, perhaps stepping into a high-stakes negotiation where you needed to be exceptionally firm, or navigating a difficult family discussion where you had to embody, extreme patience and rationality. Did you ever feel like you were accessing a slightly different version of yourself? Maybe stronger or more composed. That could well be your alter ego coming to the fore, an incredible internal resource we all possess, really. Okay, so from tapping into our inner power, let's pivot. Let's look at something more external, but still crucial for clear communication. The phrase, stay put. At its most basic level, it just means to remain in place or not move. Simple enough. But it sounds incredibly direct, doesn't it? Almost like a command. What are the nuances here? What separates stay put from just saying remain or maybe hold still?
Well, that directness you picked up on, that's absolutely key to its nuance. If we look at the bigger picture, stay put is definitely more forceful, more prescriptive than simply remain or hold still. Remain is a very general term, often quite passive, just meaning not moving. The documents remained on the desk. It just states a fact. No urgency, no instruction.
Right, just a state of being.
Exactly. And hold still. That usually refers to a physical posture, often for a short time. Like when you're posing for a photo, hold still. Or maybe telling a child to be motionless during a checkup. It's about temporary physical stillness.
Okay, so more about body movement for a moment.
Precisely. But stay put implies a clear instruction or maybe an expectation to not move from a specific designated spot. And often it's used in circumstances where movement might be anticipated or problematic or even dangerous. There's an underlying firmness to it, an implicit command almost. It often suggests there's some external force or situation that could cause movement, but the instruction is to resist that urge or force.
So there's an implication of resisting potential movement.
Yes, exactly. It communicates a necessity for immobility, a directive to maintain one's position against potential disruption. So the phrase conveys a sense of stability, steadfastness, whether it's a person following an order or even an object proving its durability.
That distinction really helps solidify its usage. Makes sense. And the source's example highlights this perfectly. During turbulence, passengers were told to stay put in their seats.
Mm-hmm.
You just wouldn't say passengers were told to remain in their seats with that same urgent, safety-critical tone, would you? Remain just lacks that imperative quality.
Absolutely not. It sounds too passive for the situation.
And you definitely wouldn't say hold still in their seats because that implies, like you said, just momentary physical stillness. Not a directive to stay in that specific place while the plane is bouncing around, but stay put captures it perfectly. It's a non-negotiable instruction. Maintain your position.
Spot on.
And here's another great example, showing its versatile use, this time with an object. Have you ever used a product that impressively stayed put?
Ah, yes. And the sample answer for that one is brilliant. Yes, my eyeliner stayed put through the entire concert. This is such a great illustration because it takes that instruction often given to people and applies it to an object's remarkable steadfastness. The eyeliner wasn't just still on her face or remaining there, it didn't budge. Despite hours of, dancing, sweating, high energy, it held its ground.
It really demonstrated resilience.
Exactly. Impressive resilience against movement or deterioration. It truly remained in its designated place despite all those external forces. So this usage beautifully conveys durability, reliability. It highlights that the item performed its function without shifting or fading. It really underscores a quality of unwavering performance, which is actually quite a powerful insight for such a seemingly simple phrase.
It really does highlight resilience, doesn't it? Makes you think. For you listening now, what comes to mind when you think of things that are surprisingly resilient? Things that hold their ground, literally or figuratively? Maybe it's that incredibly sturdy piece of furniture that's been in your family for generations. Or perhaps a personal commitment you made that has stayed put and through various challenges, showing your unwavering resolve. It's a versatile phrase. It can describe physical stability, but also that kind of unwavering determination. Okay, shifting gears slightly again, let's explore a phrase that's just incredibly practical for everyday life. Readily available. Simple meaning. Something is easy to access or obtain without fuss, without delay. It sounds straightforward, but that adverb readily adds a really crucial layer of meaning, doesn't it? How does readily available distinguish itself from just available or maybe accessible?
That's a great question because you're right. These terms are often used somewhat interchangeably, but readily available carries a specific emphasis. You see, available just means something exists and can be obtained. But it doesn't imply anything about the effort involved or the immediacy. For instance, a very rare manuscript might be technically available in a specialized archive somewhere, but getting to it would require immense effort, travel, permissions. It's not readily available.
Right, it exists, but getting it is a mission.
Exactly. And accessible, that means it can be reached, maybe with some effort or under specific conditions. For example, a building might be made accessible to wheelchair users after they install a ramp. The conditions were met to allow access. It wasn't necessarily easy before that.
Okay, so accessible means it's possible to reach, perhaps after some adaptation.
Precisely. Now, readily available. This emphasizes ease, speed, and immediate convenience. It implies minimal effort or delay in getting something. It's not just there, it's there for the taking. Without friction, without searching, without bureaucratic hurdles, it often suggests a good supply, maybe a well-organized setup, or a situation where what you need is practically at your fingertips.
So it's really about effortless acquisition.
Exactly. A state of effortless acquisition. Whatever you need is not only present, but presented in a way that allows for instant use. This phrase is really about efficiency, isn't it? About the removal of obstacles between you and the item or resource you desire.
That makes perfect sense. It's all about that convenience, removing the friction. The example, snacks were readily available at the party, paints such a clear picture. You didn't have to hunt for them, right? They weren't hidden away in a cupboard. You didn't have to ask someone. They were just right there, maybe on every table, easy to grab whenever you felt like it. Suggests good hosting.
Thoughtful preparation, definitely,
Yeah.
and generosity.
So to connect it to your daily lives, you could ask, what's something you always keep readily available at home that makes your life smoother?
And the sample answer, I always have a blanket readily available on the couch, perfectly captures this idea. It speaks to comfort, yes, but also immediate use. You don't have to get up, go to a linen closet, maybe unfold it. It's just right there, perhaps draped over the armrest or folded neatly, ready for you to snuggle under the moment you feel a chill or want to relax.
It highlights that seamless integration into your daily flow.
Exactly. Efficiency and convenience. It's about those subtle but actually quite significant ways small conveniences contribute to our overall well-being, even our productivity. It also often implies there's usually an ample supply or some system to ensure it's always in that convenient spot.
It makes you think, what are your own readily available essentials? The things that truly make your life more comfortable or efficient. Is it a fully charged phone, always on your bedside table? A favorite pen right by your notepad? Or maybe that perfectly placed coffee mug ready for the morning brew? It's about recognizing and maybe appreciating those small arrangements that simplify our day-to-day existence, allow for immediate satisfaction. Okay, our next phrase. This one carries a certain dramatic weight. Wore something to the grave.
Wow.
It vividly describes someone who kept a secret their entire life, never revealed it even up until their very last breath. Feels like more than just silence, doesn't it? What's the deep meaning here? How does it stand apart from simply keeping a secret or maybe taking it with them?
You're absolutely right. It carries a profound emotional and psychological weight. It's much heavier. While kept it secret is straightforward, factual, it just lacks the emotional depth, doesn't convey the sense of a lifelong burden. It describes the act, but not the impact.
Right, just the fact of secrecy.
Exactly, and took it with them. That implies finality, sure. The secret is gone when the person dies, but it doesn't quite convey the active, conscious, and often heavy concealment that wore to the grave does. Took it with them sounds a bit more passive somehow, like something that just ceases to exist upon death.
So wore to the grave suggests more active, long-term carrying of the secret.
Precisely. Wore to the grave implies a profound, lifelong concealment, almost as if the secret became a part of their very identity, like a heavy garment or a constant shadow they carried throughout their entire existence, never unburdening themselves right up to the very end. It speaks volumes about the deep impact of that unrevealed truth on the person's life, suggests a conscious decision to endure the weight of that knowledge alone.
Wow, that's a powerful image. A heavy garment worn for life.
It signifies a profound personal commitment to silence, often driven by maybe intense loyalty or shame or fear, or perhaps protecting others. It also highlights the ultimate, absolute unknowability of the truth once they're gone, leaves a lingering mystery for those left behind. So this phrase doesn't just state the fact of concealment, it paints a picture of the process, a lifetime of holding something back and the emotional cost that might entail.
That explanation really brings out the poignant nature of the phrase. Makes it much clearer. The source's example is powerful precisely because of this depth. He wore that secret to the grave. No one ever found out the truth. It just evokes this sense of deep mystery, doesn't it? A piece of someone's life story that simply vanished with them, never to be pieced together. Leaves you wondering what profound event or decision lay hidden for all those decades.
It does make you wonder.
For more personal reflection, you could think about this. Have you ever known someone who seemed to wear a secret to the grave?
And the sample answer provided touches a really universal chord, I think. Yeah, my grandfather. He hinted at something from his past, but never revealed it to us. We'll never know what it was. That perfectly captures the lingering curiosity, doesn't it? And the ultimate unknowability when a secret truly dies with someone. It's a poignant reminder of the private inner worlds people inhabit, even from those closest to them, and the choices they make about what parts of themselves they share and what they ultimately carry alone.
Yeah, it makes you realize everyone has untold stories.
Exactly. Every individual is a repository of countless untold stories, some destined to remain forever unshared, a testament to the complexities of human experience. The phrase really emphasizes the finality of that decision and the enduring mystery it leaves behind.
It certainly makes you wonder, doesn't it? What secrets are out there in the world? Carried by individuals, never seeing the light of day. It adds a layer of depth to our understanding of human nature, I think. Reminds us of the profound choices we make about what to share and what to hold on to. Perhaps as a form of self-preservation, right until the very end. It's a powerful way to acknowledge those unspoken narratives that shape lives. Okay, now let's move on to a phrase that, well, many of us can unfortunately relate to at times. Escape a scenario. It means to leave a situation quickly or suddenly, usually because it's unpleasant or undesirable in some way. We've all been caught in those moments, haven't we? Where you just wish you could instantly disappear. How does escape a scenario convey a stronger sense of urgency or motivation compared to just, say, leaving a situation or maybe getting out of something?
That's a critical point. Because if we connect this to the bigger picture, escape a scenario is definitely much more vivid. It conveys a stronger emotional impetus than just leave a situation. Leave a situation is quite neutral, isn't it? You might simply leave a party because it's getting late, no strong negative feelings attached.
Right, just a neutral departure.
Exactly, and get out of something. That can imply avoiding a chore or an obligation, like, I managed to get out of doing the dishes tonight. It suggests evasion, sure, but not necessarily being trapped in a highly uncomfortable immediate presence.
Ah, okay. So get out of is more about avoiding a task.
Often, yes. But escape a scenario implies a strong, often urgent desire to exit a situation. Why? Because it's uncomfortable, awkward, boring, stressful, or potentially negative in some way. There's a distinct sense of relief, even liberation, associated with the departure. As if you've been freed from something unpleasant, burdensome, or trapping. It suggests a feeling of being constrained or unwillingly present. And the exit is a form of release.
The word escape itself implies breaking free.
Precisely. It suggests a need to break free from confinement or an undesirable situation. It conveys a mental and emotional desire to be elsewhere, reflecting a profound discomfort with the current circumstances.
That perfectly captures the feeling. It's not just about the physical movement. It's that mental and emotional desire for freedom.
Yeah.
The example from the source is incredibly relatable. I needed an excuse to escape the awkward scenario. Well, we've all been caught in those moments, haven't we? Maybe a conversation that's just completely run dry, or an uncomfortable silence that just stretches on forever. It's that desperate longing to just vanish immediately.
That exact feeling.
From personal anecdote or maybe a Niles-style question you could be asked, have you ever wanted to escape a scenario instantly, and what was it like?
And the sample answer really resonates. Yes, once during a boring networking event. This just perfectly illustrates that feeling of being trapped and yearning for a quick exit. It wasn't just leaving the event because it was over. It was escaping the sheer dullness and the discomfort of it all. So the phrase emphasizes the emotional impetus behind the departure, highlights the unpleasant nature of the situation and the relief that comes with finally exiting it.
It implies it was so unengaging.
Literally uninspiring, maybe. So much so that the only desire was to break free from its suffocating monotony. It's a testament, really, to how language can so vividly convey our subjective experiences of relief and aversion.
What's the most memorable, or perhaps the most forgettably dull scenario you ever wished you could escape from? Maybe it was a painfully long and tedious lecture, an uncomfortable family dinner where arguments were breaking out, or, a relentless sales pitch that just wouldn't end. That feeling of wanting to vanish immediately, feeling trapped and yearning for release that is precisely what escape a scenario so powerfully captures. It really speaks to our innate desire for comfort and, well, pleasant surroundings. Moving now to another phrase, one focused more on emotional well-being, we have get it off your chest. This expression is all about emotional release, isn't it? Talking about something that's been bothering you, allowing yourself to feel lighter afterwards. What's the implied emotional weight here? And how does this phrase differ from simply confessing or maybe venting?
That's a fantastic way to frame it because you're right. The implied emotional weight is indeed what distinguishes this phrase. Confess, for example, usually implies guilt or admitting some wrongdoing, something you've done wrong or are responsible for, like confessing a crime or confessing a mistake. It's about revealing a truth, often one you've kept hidden, maybe under pressure.
Okay, so confession is linked to guilt or wrongdoing.
Often, yes. And vent. Venting is often about releasing pent-up frustration or anger, but without necessarily resolving the issue. You might vent about your boss to a friend. You let off steam, but you're not necessarily seeking a solution or fixing the problem itself. It's more of a pure release of emotion.
Right, venting is just letting off steam.
Exactly. But get it off your chest specifically conveys the idea of unburdening oneself. Unburdening from a secret, a worry, a grievance, a difficult thought, maybe even a misunderstanding that has been weighing heavily on you. The key is that the act of speaking it out loud brings a profound sense of relief, as if a physical weight has literally been lifted from your chest.
Ah, that physical metaphor again. The weight lifting.
It's central to the phrase. It's about shedding a psychological load, which then leads to a feeling of liberation, maybe clarity, and often emotional healing or progress in a relationship. It implies that internally holding on to this emotion or thought has become burdensome, and the act of vocalizing it provides significant psychological relief. It suggests the communication itself serves a therapeutic purpose for the speaker.
That physical metaphor is just so powerful, and it truly captures the essence of the phrase. The example, "I finally got it off my chest and felt relieved," perfectly illustrates this. That feeling of liberation afterwards, that sense of lightness and clarity that comes from finally sharing something difficult. For a question about personal growth, maybe communication, you could ask, is there something you've recently gotten off your chest, and what was the outcome?
And the sample answer highlights the positive outcome perfectly. Yes, I had a difficult conversation with a friend that helped a lot. Now, this wasn't just a casual chat, was it? It was a conversation that released something important. Perhaps a long-held resentment or a misunderstanding, maybe a deep worry. And crucially, it led to a resolution or understanding or an improved connection. This phrase really underscores the therapeutic power of honest communication, of voicing what's been held inside, allowing for healing, reconciliation, or just a clearer path forward. It's about finding the courage to articulate something sensitive for your own well-being and maybe the relationship's well-being too.
Indeed. Sometimes, really, the simplest act of speaking. Finding the words to articulate what's truly bothering you. That can bring the most profound relief and transformation. What if you found cathartic to get off your chest? Maybe it was expressing a long-held opinion that was creating some internal conflict, confronting a fear you'd been carrying silently, or simply sharing a worry with a trusted friend. That feeling of release that follows is often immediate and deeply impactful. Okay, our next phrase is incredibly evocative for describing emotional states. Feel like a shell. It means to feel emotionally empty or hollow, as if your inner self has somehow just departed. This is a very strong metaphor, isn't it? How does it differ from just saying you're feeling empty or hollow inside? What does feel like a shell truly convey about one's emotional state?
You've absolutely hit on the potency of this metaphor. It's very potent. While feeling empty or hollow inside certainly describes the sensation of emotional absence. Feel like a shell paints a vivid, almost haunting image of what remains when that emotional vitality is gone. Think about a shell. It's an outer casing. It might look intact, maybe even beautiful on the outside, but it's utterly empty within. Devoid of the living creature that once inhabited it. It's a husk, really, a residue.
Just the outer form remains.
Exactly. So this phrase implies that you are physically present. You might even be going through the motions of daily life, eating, working, interacting. But your core emotional self, your inner essence, your vibrancy, it's absent, depleted, or profoundly disconnected. There's a profound sense of loss, detachment, or depletion, as if the vital spark has just been extinguished, leaving only an outer facade.
Wow, that's a deep sense of numbness.
It signifies a deep emotional numbness or exhaustion, a significant disconnect from one's own feelings, passions, sense of purpose. It's more than just sadness. It's a profound sense of being drained of one's emotional capacity, leaving behind only an outer appearance. The person is physically there, but emotionally hollowed out, lacking the internal life that makes them truly them.
That's a truly powerful explanation. It speaks to a deep, almost existential weariness or emptiness. The example provided is quite moving. After the breakup, I felt like a shell of my old self for weeks. This perfectly captures the devastating impact of emotional trauma, doesn't it? Where a person can feel utterly drained of their usual spirit, their personality, their emotional responsiveness. They might look the same on the outside, but inwardly they are profoundly changed, operating on a diminished emotional capacity.
It's a very accurate description for that state.
For a question about navigating life challenges, you might ask, have you ever felt like a shell emotionally, and what led to that feeling?
And the sample answer shows its applicability to periods of intense stress, not just trauma. Yes, during a stressful time at university, I felt really empty. It's that feeling where you're just existing, without the usual spark or enthusiasm or connection to your own emotions. You might be attending classes, studying, meeting deadlines, but there's no joy, no inner drive, just a sense of going through the motions.
Just operating on empty.
Exactly. The profound stress and pressure can deplete you to such an extent that you lose your internal vibrancy. You become, in essence, an empty vessel just trying to survive. This powerful image communicates a deep state of emotional depletion that goes way beyond simple sadness or tiredness. It's a fundamental loss of emotional animation.
It's an incredibly powerful way to describe emotional resilience, or maybe the profound lack thereof, during really challenging times. Can you recall a time you felt that way? Perhaps after a particularly draining project at work, a prolonged period of grief, or maybe an intense personal struggle when you felt like you were just operating on autopilot, without your usual vibrancy or passion or emotional connection to the world around you. It's a stark reminder, isn't it, of the toll that emotional burdens can take on our inner lives. Okay, our next phrase. This one is all about looking to the past, but with a discerning eye. Look back on something. It means to reflect or think about a past experience, but it feels like more than just recalling it. There seems to be a deeper cognitive and emotional process involved, isn't there? How does look back on imply more than simply remembering or recalling?
You've highlighted the crucial element perfectly. It's not just simple memory retrieval. Remember or recall is more about accessing a factual memory. Often a specific piece of information or an event, like, I remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, or I recalled the dates of the project. It's about retrieving data.
Right, just bringing the memory to mind.
Exactly. And reminisce that often implies a more casual, typically fond dwelling on past memories, often done with others, sharing stories. But it doesn't necessarily involve deep evaluation.
Okay, reminiscing is more social and often positive.
Generally, yes, but look back on. That implies a more active, considered reflection. It means stepping back and evaluating or gaining perspective on a past period or event or decision, usually from a distance in time. It's not just about the facts or the simple recollection. It's about processing the feelings associated with that experience. Understanding the lessons learned, maybe recognizing how that specific experience shaped you into the person you are today.
This involves interpretation and understanding.
Absolutely. This reflection can be accompanied by various emotions. Fondness, yes, but also regret, pride, even a sense of wonder perhaps at how far you've come. It involves a degree of introspection, appraisal, and crucially, the construction of meaning from your personal history. It's about weaving those past events into your personal narrative with a deeper understanding.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Weaving past events into your personal narrative. Building understanding and perspective. The example from the source perfectly captures this reflective quality. I often look back on my childhood with fondness. It's not just a factual statement about remembering childhood events. It conveys that warm, nostalgic feeling, that sense of appreciation that comes with thoughtfully reflecting on those formative years.
It implies a considered judgment on that period.
Exactly. And for an IELTS-style question, maybe about personal achievement or growth you might get, what's something you look back on and feel particularly proud of?
And the sample answer provided perfectly illustrates pride in past accomplishment. I look back on my first public speech and feel really proud. Now, this isn't just a simple recollection of delivering the speech, is it? It's a deeper reflection on the entire journey. The initial fear, maybe, the effort put into preparation, the courage it took to stand up there, and the eventual success of that moment. It's about acknowledging personal growth, overcoming a challenge, achieving something significant.
Recognizing the whole process.
Exactly. The act of looking back allows for this retrospective pride, recognizing how that single event contributed to one's development and confidence. It allows us to draw strength and lessons from our past achievements, creating a richer, more informed sense of self.
Absolutely. Reflection truly is such a powerful tool for growth, for appreciation. For you listening now, what moments from your past do you look back on with a profound sense of pride or fondness? Perhaps a particularly challenging project you completed at work. A new skill you mastered that felt impossible at first. Or maybe a time you overcame significant adversity. It's about taking stock of your unique journey and drawing inspiration and wisdom from it. Now, for our final phrase before we put your knowledge to the test with our quiz, a truly descriptive one. Carry the essence of something. This phrase is beautifully nuanced. It means to embody the mood, the feeling, or the spirit of something. But what does essence truly mean in this context, and how is it different from just, say, representing something?
That's an excellent question because you're right. The word essence here is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. It's key. You see, represent can be a very superficial or symbolic connection. A flag represents a country. It's a symbol. A lawyer represents a client in court. They act on their behalf. The connection might not be intrinsic.
Okay, so represent can be symbolic or functional.
Exactly. But carry the essence of. That suggests a much deeper intrinsic connection. It means that something or someone doesn't just symbolize or remind you of something else, but that it inherently embodies, radiates, or contains the fundamental character, mood, or spirit of that thing. It's about the very soul or the defining quality being present and perceptible.
So it's like the core spirit is actually in it.
Precisely. It's not a mere imitation or a visual reminder. It's a profound resonance with the core identity or defining characteristics of whatever is being referenced. When something carries an essence, it means that its fundamental nature, its defining spirit, is palpable, undeniable. It's almost as if that core quality has been distilled and infused into the subject, making it an authentic manifestation rather than just a superficial echo. This phrase implies a deep, authentic connection to the core identity of something.
That distinction really elevates the phrase. It's about being an authentic embodiment, not just a symbol. The source offers a wonderful example that perfectly illustrates this. Her voice carries the essence of old jazz music. It's not just that she sings jazz songs, right? Her voice itself, its unique tone, the phrasing, the rhythm, the timbre, the very feel of it genuinely evokes the spirit and mood of classic jazz. You can almost hear the history and the soul of the genre in every note she sings.
That's a perfect example of it. The essence is palpable in the sound itself.
And for a question about personal style or maybe connection, you could consider, do you own anything that truly carries the essence of your personality?
And the sample answer is a wonderful personal touch. My handmade jewelry carries the essence of my creativity. Now, this isn't just about owning jewelry. It's about the jewelry being a direct, tangible expression of her inner creative spirit. The craftsmanship, maybe the unique design choices, the chosen materials, the very process of making it, all these elements combine to embody her unique artistic soul.
It's more than just an object.
Much more. It's about that item being an authentic extension of who you are at your core, radiating your unique spirit and personality without needing to explicitly state it. It's a powerful way to describe how we infuse parts of ourselves into the things we create or choose to surround ourselves with.
It makes you think, what objects or aspects of your life truly carry the essence of who you are or what you love? Perhaps it's a vintage camera that unmistakably embodies your passion for photography, a meticulously cultivated garden that truly reflects your love for nature and tranquility, or even a particular style of clothing that just feels like you and expresses your inner self without a single word. It's about those profound connections where an object or an activity resonates deeply with your core identity. All right, it is quiz time. We've covered a significant amount of ground with these advanced phrases. We've delved into their nuances, their applications. Now, let's see how much you've absorbed and how confidently you can apply them. For each question, I'll give you the phrase and then 3 options, A, B, or C. And feel free to pause the podcast here if you need a moment to think about the answer before I reveal it and we discuss it a bit further. Ready? Let's dive in. Question 1. What does alter ego mean? Option A second self or different version of oneself. Option B, a person who always disagrees with you. Option C, someone who represents your childhood past. Okay, take a moment if you need it. The correct answer is option A, a second self or different version of oneself.
Exactly, that's the one. Remember, it's that deeper, more integrated identity that comes forward for specific situations. It's not just a superficial role. Think back to tapping into a more confident alter ego for that work presentation, accessing a powerful version of yourself when it's needed. Options B and C, they describe different types of relationships or memories, but neither captures that core idea of a distinct, almost separate identity within oneself.
Perfect. Question 2. What does it mean to stay put? Option A, remain in place or not move. Option B, leave quietly without notice. Option C, adjust your position slightly. Pause if you like. And the correct answer is option A, remain in place or not move.
Precisely. It's that firm instruction or expectation to maintain your position, often despite external forces trying to make you move. Recall the example of the passengers told to stay put during turbulence. It's that non-negotiable command to remain in their designated spot for safety. And don't forget our other example, how impressively your eyeliner can stay put through a whole concert, showing its resilience. Options D and C describe actions that are really the opposite, or at least a modification, of staying firmly in place.
Great reminder. Question 3. If something is readily available, what is it? Option A, expensive and hard to obtain. Option B, present but difficult to access. Option C, easy to access or obtain. Think about it. The correct answer is option C, easy to access or obtain.
That's spot on. Readily available emphasizes that convenience and immediate access, without friction, without delay. Think about those readily available snacks at the party placed conveniently for everyone to just grab. Or having your favorite blanket readily available right there on the couch. It's all about effortless access whenever you need it. Options A and B clearly imply difficulty or cost, which is the very antithesis of readily available.
Excellent. Moving on to question 4. What does wore something to the grave imply? Option A, revealed something right before death. Option B, kept a secret their entire life. Option C, carried emotional pain for years. Take a second. The correct answer is option B, kept a secret their entire life.
Absolutely. This phrase conveys that profound, lifelong concealment. A secret that was never revealed to anyone and vanishes forever with the person. It's like that poignant story of the grandfather who wore that secret to the grave, leaving that lingering mystery behind for his family. Option A is the complete opposite, isn't it? And while option C, carrying emotional pain, might well be a consequence of keeping such a secret, it's not the direct meaning of the phrase itself. The phrase specifically refers to the act of concealment until death.
Good clarification. Question 5. To escape a scenario means to. Option A, discuss a difficult topic openly. Option B, leave a situation quickly or suddenly. Option C, ignore something uncomfortable for a while. Pause if you need to. The correct answer is option B, leave a situation quickly or suddenly.
Correct. It's all about that urgent desire and the action of exiting a situation because it's uncomfortable or awkward or boring. Remember that feeling of needing an excuse to escape the awkward scenario or wishing you could just escape that boring networking event. You desperately wanted to be free of that unpleasant situation. Options A and C describe different reactions to difficulty, discussion, or avoidance, not the act of urgent departure itself.
Right on. Question 6. What does it mean to get it off your chest? Option A, forget about something completely. Option B, talk about something that's been bothering you. Option C, avoid confrontation to maintain peace. Your thoughts. The correct answer is option B. Talk about something that's been bothering you.
Spot on. This phrase implies unburdening yourself from some heavy secret or worry or grievance. It's about that profound relief you feel when you finally get it off your chest, maybe after a difficult conversation. Lifting that emotional burden, finding a sense of liberation and clarity. Option A is about oppression, really, and option C is about avoidance. Neither involves the catharsis of actually speaking out.
Makes sense. Question 7. If you feel like a shell, what does that mean emotionally? Option A, you feel overwhelmed by emotions. Option B, you are excited but hiding it. Option C, you feel emotionally empty or hollow. Pause and consider. The correct answer is option C. You feel emotionally empty or hollow.
Precisely. This vivid metaphor describes that state of profound emotional depletion, where you're physically present but your inner essence, your emotional vitality, is absent. It's like feeling like a shell of your old self after a difficult breakup, or during a highly stressful time, that deep sense of inner emptiness, a physical presence without the emotional vibrancy. Options A and B describe very different emotional states, both involving active emotion, unlike the distinct hollowness implied by being a shell.
Got it. And finally, question 8. To carry the essence of something means option A, to hold on to something physically. Option B, to remember the facts about it. Option C, to represent or embody its spirit or feeling. Last chance to pause. The correct answer is option C, to represent or embody its spirit or feeling.
Exactly. This phrase signifies that deep intrinsic connection, where something inherently radiates or contains the fundamental character or spirit of another thing. Just like a voice can carry the essence of old jazz music, embodying its very spirit and mood, or your handmade jewelry can carry the essence of your creativity. It's about truly radiating that core character and soul. Options A and B are much more literal or factual interpretations, and they miss the profound metaphorical meaning of essence in this context.
Well, how did you do on the quiz? We really hope this deep dive has not only clarified these advanced English phrases for you, but also maybe inspired you to experiment with them, to add new layers of precision and, well, color to your communication. The true beauty of these expressions lies in their ability to articulate complex thoughts and feelings with greater nuance, greater impact, allowing you to convey exactly what you mean, and with confidence, too.
And this brings us to a final, maybe provocative thought for you to consider as you continue your learning journey. As you continue to expand your vocabulary, how will you not only acquire these new words, but truly learn to carry the essence of fluent, confident communication in your own unique way? Because it's about more than just definitions, isn't it? It's about making these phrases a natural, authentic part of your expressive self, infusing your own personality into your mastery of the language.
That's a great challenge for our listeners. A big thank you once again to SpeakDuo for providing the foundation for today's enriching session. And remember, you can find more fantastic lessons and continue to practice your English speaking with people from all around the world at SpeakDuo.com. Keep expanding your linguistic toolkit. Keep practicing, and we'll catch you next time for another deep dive into what truly makes communication shine.